Ladies and gentlemen, we have some wacky new reward apps that have hit the market. Let's see if they're worth the time and effort. Hope you enjoy. First up, we have Sleep Money. So the whole concept of Sleep Money is pretty much what it sounds like. At the top of the screen, you have your balance, as well as a 3-hour timer and your goal. Underneath that, you have some floating bubbles with the in-game currency. Now you'll notice that there's a timer available. Tapping on that will activate the sleep mode. And what you'll find is that while that time is ticking down, there's advertisements that will play and you'll get prompts like this, where it states that you can multiply the amount of in-game currency you earned by, of course, watching ads. So really what this turns into, in my opinion, is more of an idle app that you would have running in the background while you're doing other things or potentially sleeping, which I don't see how that'd work because you actually have to accept the ads. Now you can change the sleep hours as well, everyone, and there's even like a little sleep journal. Now there is a chest reward system. The more you obviously use the app, the more of these chests that you can unlock every day. And then you have the mini games area, which is another way for you guys to actually generate that in-game currency. And there's another ad prompt. I'm sure you guys understand how these little mini games work, everyone. They're very basic. I did find that some will give a lot more of the in-game currency than others though, like the Tap Frenzy one. You can see here that I can actually times 3 for 1,650 of the in-game currency, which is a big portion of that goal. So at this point, I've almost hit the first threshold already. But in my opinion, these thresholds and everything like that means nothing. All that matters is the ads watched. Granted, the Task tab has all the functions of the application listed in one area. So this is really where you're going to go and get that in-game currency, in my opinion. So that's all there is to it, everyone. Let me just break down today's test. I started the test off with 3 hours on the timer, generated 7,835 of the in-game currency in an hour and a half almost, and that only converted into 5 cents worth of USD currency. And mind you, it's not like advertisements aren't playing. They're spamming every 30 to 60 seconds no matter what you do. I am happy to say I did withdraw that 5 cents, and yes, everyone, it did arrive to my PayPal account in my own experience here in Australia straight away, by the way. That's my review of Sleep Money. You guys can do whatever you want with the information. Let's move on to the next app. Just quickly, everyone, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Next up, we have Money Bridge. Again, this is what I meant by wacky, everyone. Like, seriously. The apps that are coming out in 2026 are quite interesting to say the least. Either way, this is what Money Bridge looks like. There's a daily reward system which will give you the in-game currency, and straight away we're thrown into a mini game, again trying to prompt you into the ad. Now notice that we have actually quite a large amount of the currency we can generate, but to get 100%, you need to watch the ad, or you only get 50% without the ad, but the kicker is it plays an ad anyway. So what's happening at the moment is that the game's actually playing on its own and building the bridges for us. There's another pop-up before we've even got into the game. Can I just say as well, how bad is the new advertisement system these ad companies are rolling out? There's like 4 ads now in one. It's crazy. Okay, so now that's done. Top of the screen, we have our in-game currency of coins, our cash-based currency, which is of course the in-game currency as well, with a 3-hour timer, and the supposed PayPal currency. And there's the next pop-up. So underneath your balance, you have your little goal system. So this is probably one of the most ad-heavy apps I've seen in a very long time, which is quite disappointing because the game actually looks pretty decent. All you literally do is build the bridges and cross over to the next area, everyone. Simple as that. Now in the bottom left corner of the screen, you can also open chests for ads, of course. Top left corner of the screen, you have a few extra little areas, such as the collection area, for instance. And then on the right side of the screen, you have your progression bar. So obviously, the more that you progress throughout the level, that's going to go up in layers. And that equals what you're seeing now, which will let you claim things through the turntable, but will of course play an ad. So everyone, that's really all there is to the application, okay? As you can see, it's not hard to understand at all. Something I will say is that there are so many different mini games on this application, which is pretty cool, but I just find you're never able to actually play the game properly because of the ad spam. Now there is a rewards area as well if you do feel like watching more ads. Either way, let's break down today's test. So everyone, I played for a total of 1 hour and 27 minutes and I generated 9,230 of the in-game cash. And once that timer ran out, that gave me 10 cents worth of USD currency. Which, funny enough, that is higher than some of the apps of this style, by the way, but definitely not worth sitting through like 100 advertisements. I am happy to say though, everyone, yes, I did withdraw the 10 cents USD and it did arrive straight away to my PayPal account in my experience here in Australia. So again, it is nice to see, but I feel like these developers could just relax a little bit with the ads, okay? Either way, that's my review on Money Bridge. Let's move on to the next application. Next up, we have Crazy Click. So this one's another play to earn style of application, and this is what it looks like. Top of the screen, you have your in-game balance, and of course your timer of 3 hours and your goal. Underneath that, you have your premium pearl currency, and of course the in-game coins. Now, below that, you'll also find the various mini games that you'll encounter, as well as a buff and tool store. And obviously in the middle of the screen, you have the big finger. At the bottom of the screen, you can find upgrades, as well as the task, redeem, and cash out area. You see, with this game, everyone, you can use that in-game currency of coins and convert it into the cash-based currency. That's pretty cool all in all. Now, the task-based system is simply the mini games that we've dealt with many times on these style of apps, so nothing too new here. And with the buff store, you can either use the pearls or the in-game coins. This will obviously help you progress throughout the game itself. So all you simply need to do is tap the screen, and then eventually you'll get prompted for an advertisement via a minigame. You'll see I'm slowly collecting those minigames the more I'm tapping. And there we go. So at this point, we get our first prompt, everyone, and again, it's one of those situations where you can watch an advertisement to multiply your earnings. So let's do that now. All right, let's see what we got, and it is a ×3. So at the end of the day, everyone, there's not too much else to the application, okay? I'm sure you guys can figure it out. It's more of a clicker-based game than an idle one, in my opinion. But either way, let me just break down how today's test went. I started today's test off with 2 hours and 46 minutes on the timer, played for around 44 minutes and hit the goal. And that only converted into 2 cents worth of USD. So around 44 minutes or so for 2 cents. That's pretty rough. I then played for another 54 minutes or so and managed to hit the goal again for 8,600 of the cash, and then that gave me another 3 cents worth of USD, everyone. And since the minimum was 5 cents to cash out, that's what I did. Yes, everyone, I am happy to say that the PayPal currency did hit my account within about 1 minute, just literally a few seconds ago when I did hit the withdrawal. Now, the only thing is, again, as always, it begs the question, just because something may come through for you, does that mean it's actually worth the time and effort? At least here in Australia, absolutely not, but in your own country, you can be the judge of that. I will say, though, it's a pretty cool idea, and I just hope they increase the rates, and they may have something actually pretty sweet here. Let's move on to the next app. Next up, we have Circus Cascade. All right, everyone, here we go. We are heading back to the whole Plinko style of game. Top of the screen, we have our little currency, of course, with our 3-hour timer and supposed PayPal currency, and underneath, you have the Plinko area, as well as a fever meter and the little minigame section. All you need to do is drop the balls from the ceiling and hopefully trigger off the little slot machine element of the game, while of course pushing the coins off at the bottom. I'm almost certain you guys have used these type of conveyor belt Plinko games before. So really, this is all there is to the app, everyone. Very, very straightforward. You have all the mini games that just randomly appear, all trying to get you to watch advertisements, of course, because that's how these games operate. The same situation, everyone. You have the multiplier there applied when you watch the ad. So without wasting too much of your time here, I'm going to go and show you the test, everyone, because I don't think you need to see more than what I've shown you so far, because as I said, that's really all there is to it. I started the test off with 2 hours and 53 minutes on the timer. I played for a little under an hour and generated 12,799 of the currency, and once that timer ran out, it converted into 11 cents worth of USD, which, to be fair, again, is on the higher end for these style of apps, so that was a little bit surprising. And I'm very happy to say, everyone, I did withdraw that 11 cents worth of USD, and it did arrive straight away to my PayPal account literally a few moments ago as well. So that was great to see. So as long as you keep your expectations realistic with these style of like play to earn apps, I think you should be okay, but you're not going to get too much, man. At least not here in Australia. Anyway, that's my review of Circus Cascade. I am hoping we get a massive pay rate increase this year, but I just don't see it happening with everything happening around the world right now. Check out my channel for almost 1,000 reviews. See you all next time.